when did you leave Beijing? How old were you when you were that age?
I left Beijing. I don't even remember. But I was like 4 years in Beijing, and then I did a 4 years in Hong Kong. Then I went back to Beijing for 4 years.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like there was like a break in the middle in Hong Kong.
And so you're talking about having still an Indian passport. How does that affect you being a musician who lives in the United States, travels in the United States, and works in the United States?
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because I have to fucking pull out my green card when we cross the Canadian border to go play shows in Canada, which is nice now because I have a green card. So I'm like, oh, here you go. It's like a fast pass if you're not. But it was a pain in the ass for a while. Actually, I applied for a work visa back in 2016, I think. And it got denied because the work visa system, basically a lottery, only 33.33% of people get in. Wow. And they denied me. So I just like left to France for a year.
Wow. Yeah. What was that experience like for you?
It was crazy. It was, I don't know why I just said crazy. It was actually just extremely depressing. Because I was just like by there by myself.
So what would have been like an amazing experience in another country, it didn't have the same effect as traveling there because it's like, I'm making music over here.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like out of my, comfortable living situation with like friends and, people I knew and stuff. Yeah. And then here I am, a stranger in a random land and literally by myself. Like no one accompanied me. There was no... I knew like survival French at that point. Like I was like kind of like mildly like conversational in French. So I kind of could get around, but I couldn't hold a long conversation until a year of studying French there. So there's like barely any friends, barely anything. Yeah, it sucked. And I put all that pain and that depression into the album Marbled.
Wow.
Which is what was created over there over the span of an entire year. It ended up dropping by the time I came back to the U.S.
Wow. And so was that your way of kind of reconciling with that experience?
Yeah, I think so. And, I don't fault France for that. I think, had my situation been a little different, I would have enjoyed living there. But, it was just a really sour time. But I managed to kind of squeeze something a little sweet out of it. Arguably still like, the like one of the albums that people pay tickets to come see on tour.
Wow. And so when you get back from France and you have that album come out, what was that process like, starting that tour and that process?
That was insane. I still hadn't seen like a fan, so to speak, like a stranger who's found me on the internet.
You're still like an internet citizen at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. I was still an internet musician. I still hadn't like met a fan in like real life or whatever. Wow. And I played my first show in America after that France stint in Austin, Texas. And I just like booked, I don't even know how I how I put it together, but I got like a venue to like put together an event and they billed me and I went and played this show and about like 35 people showed up. This was like 2017.
And where was this again?
Austin, Texas.
Gotcha.
It was at like some random bar, which is closed now because of COVID. About 35 people showed up.
Wow.
And about 5 of them were my fans. That was like the craziest thing.
Was that like profound? And like, whoa, this actually has reached someone?
Yeah. And I think about, and that's just insane. At the time, it was just great. At the time, it was what last night felt like.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was a milestone. I'd never played a show and seen a fucking random fan.
Yeah. Because 5 to 6 is the same as 5 to 600 when you just start,
Exactly.
Now.
Exactly. And then we did one more show like 2 months down the line in Austin again. And this time, there were 75 people.
Yeah.
And about 50% of the crowd knew who I was. So that first show was kind of like, it fueled the flames a little bit. And I kept dropping music and like being active on social media, like doing all that shit. And then, and then I was like, holy shit. And these people are fans and they paid tickets to come see me. And like, it was crazy.